There was definitely challenging times in my life where I thought, wow, I'm in over my head, or wow, that this is never going to work. I don't know what to do, or I'm going to be defeated. And what you always want to remember is that it's not over till it's over. There's a power in knowing that things can change quickly.
This is Shed Talk. Welcome to Shed Talk. Today's guest doesn't just break a sweat, she breaks barriers. And from training celebrities to top executives to mastering the art of Kung Fu, Kendra Mahon is the ultimate fitness guru with a black belt to prove it. Kendra Mahon, welcome to Shed Talk.
Thank you.
Well, so this has been actually a great journey to get you onto Shed Talk. I had to get that whole aspect of being Canada's top fitness trainer.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me, actually. I've worked really hard my whole life. I've been into sports since a very young age, starting in Kung Fu about 20 years ago, I would say. It opened up a whole new world for me of fitness and challenging myself. I realized that the stronger I got and the more I was able to beat this limitation in my mind, more opportunities opened up for me. So I realized there was a correlation between fitness and mental fitness and success. So with my knowledge of Kung Fu and Kung Fu cardio workouts that I do, I just worked really, really hard and became listed as one of the top fitness trainers in Canada, and most recently listed as one of the top fitness trainers in the world, surprisingly. If you Google me, it was listed, and it's an honor. It comes with a great responsibility, I feel. What I do now is less one-on-one training and more global training. I'm working on a global reach to help inspire people to be in better shape and to push their own limits so that they can also achieve whatever they want in life.
So when you talk about inspire people and going into the realm of Kung Fu, because when I think of Kung Fu, I think of Bruce Lee and going through and stuff like that and getting into it, and Kung Fu as being in fitness as in mind, body, and soul, being as of one. Mm-hmm. So now you just mentioned, how do you get people more focused into that transition?
Well, a huge part of it is the power of the mind. And I do want to let you know and your viewers know that I have a gift for them at kungfukendra.com/shed. And there they will find a Subliminal abs audio that I created with state-of-the-art recording equipment. It uses delta and isochronic tones. And you listen for 12 minutes per day and will help you subconsciously program yourself to have the motivation and develop stronger abs.
Okay, now let's dive deeper into that.
Okay.
Because you're give to the listeners that this is awesome. Mm-hmm. But what's even cooler, I'd like to know a little bit more about the subliminal stuff, because if it's just your abs, it can be anything.
It can be anything. The power of the subliminal programming is extremely powerful, in my opinion. I've created many audios to help with abs, with grief, with becoming more motivated, with interviews, pretty much everything. I'm also into the idea of the mind-body connection, obviously, as well as the body-mind connection, as an example. So while you're listening to these subliminals, you're also physically doing things throughout the day to help assist it. It's more of a supplement, but it's definitely something that works for me, and I know it's worked for many people.
So let's talk about the abs.
Yes.
Are you talking to build your abs here, or is abs as a different terminology for something else?
Abs as in your core, in your abdominal muscles.
So what would be like subliminally about abs? Like I'm curious.
Yep. Well, there's some theories that suggest that the more we listen to something, not consciously, but on a subconscious level, it has a subtle effect of our energy that we don't really have much control of when we're in a conscious state. However, if we allow ourselves to fall into more of a subconscious state and take in the information, it can develop a memory pattern over and over and over again. That's why you listen for 12 minutes per day for, I would like to say, 21 days.
And what would we be listening for, or what would they listen for?
You don't really listen for anything. What you want to do is release yourself from the expectation of anything and close your eyes and take that time to, you listen to the sound waves, and underneath it's my voice that you can't quite hear, programming you with messages that I've developed, very specific wording that you're taking in when you're not consciously aware of it. So you can do it before you go to bed, you can do it during a nap in the afternoon, and you can do it pretty much any time.
Okay, so let's ask a better question as we're deep down into this. How did you come up with this? And where did it all start?
Well, it all started for me, like I said, 20 years ago when I walked into my Kung Fu school. I was also interested in things like the movie The Secret. I was recently interviewed by one of the stars of The Secret, Dr. Joe Vitale. And my inspiration from that pushed me towards, I studied quantum physics. I got a master's in that, master's degree. The Kung Fu I found was intercorrelated as well. We did a lot of Qi Gong, which is energy cultivation. And with all those things, it all just kind of made sense with the meditation, the subliminals, and the physical aspect.
So let's deep into that a little more. So you have The Secret, okay, book or audio?
I watched both. I watched the
Both?
video and the book. I read the book.
So on that part, was that basically the launching pad of basically when you're talking about the inner being, because it's of The Secret, and people have never watched or heard of The Secret. It's a great read, and where you're doing is you're actually taking it to another level.
Yeah, well, that was the whole idea. It was to embody the concepts of the way we can shape our realities and create a world that we want, basically manifest. And I talk about that in the book, Push Your Way Through. There's a chapter devoted to shaping your reality and having the ability to be where you want to be in life. And it all starts actually with consciously being aware of what you want in life. A lot of times we ask ourselves, what do we want? But sometimes we don't ask ourselves, what do we not want in life? So it all comes down to knowing yourself and really getting in touch with yourself. And for me, the subliminals and the meditation and Qigong, I just recently actually created a program for Qigong, and it can be found at kungfukendra.com/shed. It's a great program that also teaches the cultivation of energy and how to program yourself to get what you want in life, whether it's fitness, whether it's more money, whether it's going on more vacations. So for me, there's a huge power.
So if you're an individual, and I'll go into, because I'm going to speak from experience, overweight. You're 240 pounds. I'm going back to my stories. So you're overweight. You're not really sure who you are, where you are in life, and where you're going to be. What is the first step that someone needs to take to recognize where they need to start?
The first step for them to realize where they need to start is to figure out what do they want. The first question is, what do you want? If it's, I want to fit into that dress for the party, or I want to lose 70 pounds, whatever it is, you need to figure out what it is. The next step is make a plan. You want to write down exactly what you want out of the situation? What is the outcome? Once you can visualize in a list, then you can begin to execute the plan. As we both know, things don't happen instantly. Small steps lead to great outcomes. And again, I mention it in the book, Push Your Way Through, that Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't lose 100 pounds overnight. It takes sometimes a year. It takes steady, incremental growth to reach a final result. And so don't be discouraged.
Was there ever a time that you had done this that you were at this sense of quitting and giving up at that time? Because everybody has that moment in time where and you're over the top, like you're going and you're doing this, you've the secret, like you're past that point. But did you ever have a time where all of a sudden enough's enough?
There was definitely challenging times in my life where I thought, wow, I'm in over my head, or wow, that this is never going to work. I don't know what to do, or I'm going to be defeated. And what you always want to remember is that it's not over till it's over. There's a power in knowing that things can change quickly. And I play chess every day. I'm a chess player. And I use the analogy of it's not over till it's over. Sometimes you may have lost your queen and you've lost, half your pieces, but all it takes is just one opportunity of your opponent slipping up or not seeing a move, and then you can move your tiny little pawn and suddenly you've got your queen back. So there's so much power in not giving up and the resilience of life.
So was there one time that you can recall and remember a story that put your back up against the wall?
Well, before I started Kung Fu, I was definitely at a point where I wasn't sure how to get that next edge. I was working out, I was walking, I was doing all these things, but I wanted to get into extra great shape. I wanted to really feel what it felt like to use my body as a weapon, to be in complete control of this physical instrument that I can control. So leading up to that, there was struggles. There was, am I good enough for this? Can I make it to the next level? As an example, we have gradings in Kung Fu that rank you to the next level. So towards, getting the black belt, it was very intimidating. And I did think, there's no way I can do this. But the way you overcome that sort of fear is to just put yourself in it. Just do it. Face your fear. And you will come out a better person. It's better than avoiding it.
And it's interesting because you had just mentioned about facing your fear. Okay, just do it. Go and try it. Because if I look at the stuff that you've done, you've worked with top executives. You've worked all over. You've written a book. Every one of these actions that you've taken are because you moved forward one step at a time, because it was not an easy task. And you're female and you're in business. And that in itself, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's obviously it's not. It's a struggle for everybody. Mm-hmm. And where do you see that struggle with women in business and doing what you're doing? Like you're in Kung Fu and you're in a female in business. I don't know too many top best instructors that are worldwide women that are doing this. Like what an inspiration to young females.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It wasn't easy. I mean, I've had to face all kinds of adversity throughout my career. All kinds of things, especially being online and being in the Kung Fu communities as a leader in the Kung Fu world. A lot of backlash from, how social media can be. People can be mean. People can be, so I just actually used that as my fuel to say, you know what, watch me. Watch me. I wrote the book. I've created the Global Kung Fu Alliance, which can be found at kungfukendra.com/shed. You can find out information there. But we have over 50 countries. We have hundreds of members. We have global ambassadors. And we're spreading the word that anyone can do Kung Fu. It doesn't have to be one way or another way. Your move isn't better than mine. We take the competition out of it. And it's a community where we can share and evolve as a group. And it's very reassuring to me that that I can do that. And I think as a woman, it is difficult, but it's so much more rewarding when you just say, you know what, just like I said, push your way through. A lot of the inspiration from the book was to say, I'm just going to push my way through. I'm going to use the ancient principles of Kung Fu and get what I want.
So let's go back into that. Let's talk a little more. Push your way through. What does push your way through mean? Now, metaphorically, okay, so you're talking, let's really deep dive, push your way through. So tell me about that whole concept of pushing your way through it.
Well, I was inspired to write the book because I found that moving through life can be, you can get really slowed down by things that are inefficient, by, committing to go to things that you didn't really want to commit to. So pushing your way through was written to help people in the modern day world use the ancient principles of Kung Fu, such as flow like water or be like water, don't swim against the tide, swim with it, to use other people's energy and situations, not necessarily against them, but for your better interest. Because ultimately, we're only here for a short period of time, and we need to use our time effectively. We need to be doing things we love. We need to be less stressed out. We need to live with joy, embrace the childlike mind. And so this book was written to help. It's a very simple guide. It's complex, but it's a very easy read, and each chapter will help guide you. But it's tips and tricks on how to shape the world for you, for your best interest, for you to spend more time with your family, whatever the goals you want in life. The book is designed to help you achieve those goals.
So what would be your best tip? Because you just took tips, and I'm not going to say tricks or
Yeah.
hacks, life hacks, and doing this. What would be one of your greatest tips that you would recommend or tell somebody that if you have to take away anything with not reading my book, but if I have to sit here and give a takeaway on life, who you are, where you're going to go, what would be one of the greatest tips you would give?
My greatest tip would be in a place that you would want to be. And if you can't be there yet, visualize it, manifest it, whether it's moving to, living on an island as an example, or you want to move out of this neighborhood and do that, or you want to spend more time in nature. Because I'm a strong believer that when you surround yourself and create an environment where you can clearly know what you want and manifest what you want, you can just thrive on that. That is your hub for the rest of it. You know what I mean? It's, if you like the sun, make sure you have a room that has sunshine. If you like plants, make sure you're surrounded by plants. Create an environment that will help your garden grow, help your manifestations, spark and shape your world.
Would you have a lot of people that would say, oh, that's easy to say, but you know what? I've just had enough. It's too hard for me. Life is hard. Everything's hard. And mental health, okay? Mindset. Because you deep dive into mindset.
Yes.
How do you get rid of that demon, that guy on your shoulder that's
Yeah.
everlasting, that you'll always be there and get through there?
What you need to do is be easy on yourself, first of all. Don't have too many expectations about yourself and about the situation. But also remember that to change that mindset, to get out of that rut and that voice saying you're not good enough, it'll never happen, do something. For me, it's go work out. If I'm feeling like there's no way this is going to work, once you change your physical environment, do something active, go for a walk. You can get out of your head and actually change your mind. By the time you're done that walk, you're going to feel a lot more calm. You've seen some birds. Things look different now. You get back, you're like, oh, the outlook's not that bad.
So what does meaning getting out of your head? Is there a technique to getting out of your head when people are talking? Because we talk in our heads all the time. We always have a conversation going. How do you actually get out of your head? Like, and you talked about going for a walk, get out of your head. So I want to, because you're Zen, you look inside where you're at. How do you do that?
With physical activity. For me, it's physical activity. A lot of people would say, sit quietly and meditate. That could work for some people. For me, it's do something, whether it's start, cleaning out a drawer in your house or start researching a new job that you might want to, take on or explore opportunities, research that you've been kind of putting off. Just do something different. Get out of your heads. For some people, it's lay down and meditate or do a guided meditation. Anything to help, snap you out of it, so to speak.
So focus. How does focus come into play?
Focus can.
And I want to deep dive a little bit on the focus because mindset. I really want to talk more into that mindset, focus, playing into your head, mental health. I want to really kind of wrap that around that focus of being present. What does it mean to be present at all times?
Well, to be present is for me, to let go of what's happening in the future, forget about what happened earlier in the day, and to just embrace the moment. The person that you're talking to, fully engage with them. That's being in the moment. When you're really listening to other people, that's a good exercise to bring you into the moment. A lot of times, focus is not what you want. Sometimes you want to just kind of be zoned out and, kind of floating through the day, freely. But honestly, the mindset and the ability to focus really does come from just the desire to find peace.
And would that builds more on when we're talking focus is the subliminal, being present, listening 12 minutes
Yeah,
on each part.
absolutely. And a part of that too is by thinking that, oh, I'm going to, wind down and listen to this guided meditation and I'm going to feel better and it's going to help me. Just the idea of you thinking it's going to help you helps you as well. So the whole idea of having that little gift of the as an example, the Subliminal Abs audio at kungfukendra.com/shed. There's that gift there. But as an example, that particular one, just having that little treasure and you're able to just listen to it whenever you want. It doesn't have to be that one. It could be any particular subliminal. Will help you just because you're thinking about it, because you're putting faith into it. That's another thing. It's like anything that you believe in. If you truly believe in your heart, then it becomes your world.
So when we talk about working out more, and this is your world, what's your hardest workout?
My hardest workout would be my Kung Fu cardio workout. It's called the home workout at kungfukendra.com/shed. It's the home workout. So it was the first product I developed, and it's a Kung Fu style workout that you can do at home alone. It starts with a warm up, and then it teaches you to punch. Then it teaches you to do a front kick with this leg, front kick with that leg. Then it shows you push-ups and then you incorporate everything: crunches, push-ups, stand up, kick, 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 punching, 10 push-ups and back up. And you do that 10 to 20 times in a row, you're getting a good workout. And so workouts don't need to be complicated. They don't need to require a lot of equipment. There's something you can do at home, and you can get a very good workout.
So when you're talking about you don't need weights, you don't need to go to these gyms, you don't need this. You could actually just do it at home and actually have this full workout and burn X amount of how much calories?
A lot of calories if you wanted to, if you really wanted to push it.
So you push it. So you get to decide how many calories and what your end goal would be about how much weight you want to gain or lose. Or
Exactly. Yeah. You need to always want to be healthy. You don't want to get too carried away and lose too much weight and not build enough muscle. That's why I'm a strong believer in push-ups and like the burpee or the modified burpee for those who can't do a burpee. But yeah, it's not necessarily required. It is nice to have a gym, but at the same time, you can get, I call it like the prison workout. You just a small little room. You can almost get a better workout because you're forced to consolidate.
All right. So now let's get down a little bit more.
Okay.
Diet.
Diet. Okay.
Okay. How important, and I'm not going to talk about diet because diet has the word die in it. So it just means we're dead. Okay. Lifestyle changes. How important is that? And then we're going to go back into the mind. Okay. And then fuel, the proper foods, and you, out of anybody, living and breathing that. So let's deep dive that.
Yeah. Yeah, diet, or as we like to say, eating nutritionally. I am a strong believer in a nutrient-dense diet. I actually don't believe in diets, so let's eliminate that word. But the way of eating for me, what works for me is high-density nutrients. I'm a big fan of smoothies and cold-pressed juices. So I feel it's important that we get our vitamins that way. Obviously, you can watch your sugar by juicing and smoothieing, whatever things you're doing. If you're a person who doesn't eat meat, then that's fine. There's other options. But I think a high protein, a good balanced diet with fruits and vegetables and vitamins and some carbohydrates. And for me, I came to that conclusion. I've tried, all sorts of things, and it's better just to be happy. It's better to feel good, not be starving, hungry. It's good to feel healthy, feel normal, and I'm not a big fan of diets.
Oh, interesting, because then you're getting into this the smoothie part where, and you called it what was that? You called it, you condensed it. The food was called what? Condensing.
Cold pressed juices.
Cold pressed juices. So that's just bringing it all together as one juice drink, right?
Yeah, that's basically taking, let's say, a beet as an example, the red beet, and it gets pressed in a machine, and all of the nutrients and water get removed, and then the fiber gets removed and separated. And so then you're just drinking pure vitamins. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody, but
Interesting. Now, question for you, as we're getting closer here, is one of the thing would be is that if you could tell yourself the one thing you did 5 years ago, the one little thing that you did 5 years ago, it could be as, and I'll use this as an example, saving $1. 5 years later, you made X amount of dollars. What was the one thing that you did that changed your life to where you are today? And what is the one thing today, the one little thing that if you look back 5 years from now, will go, wow, was I ever smart that I actually pre-planned that activity?
well, that's a very good question. I would have to say that 5 years ago today, the small thing that I did that changed everything was pivoted to online. From being a one-on-one trainer to starting like a global kung fu empire is like I would call it now, which is what it's turned out to be. I didn't realize at that time what was going to take place, but it was around the time of COVID where, things were shutting down that I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to change the way I do things. So it was a little bit scary, but with the help of my boyfriend, who's very, very smart, he's a very powerful marketer, Steve G. Jones. He helped me navigate the online world and how to do my own coding, and taught me to be completely independent with my website. So that's what I did 5 years ago, and now it's turned into something that's great and thriving and just growing.
And was that a big challenge?
It was a very big challenge. A lot of people think it's easy. I'm going to just go online and I'll be making tons of money and everybody's going to know about me. It's just not the way it is. It takes a lot of hustle, especially when you're wearing all the hats, right? When you're building the website on your own, learning to code, you're learning how to, bring in different aspects of the internet. You're, going on interviews. You're trying to get your name out there. So the last 5 years has been focused on developing that and the global Kung Fu empire that exists now. And what I would have to say about what am I doing now that's going to shape the next 5 years, I think, is my certification programs. I'm starting to teach others the skills I've learned over the years and to help them go out and help the world.
That is awesome. Now, we're going to be wrapping everything up, and I really appreciate you on Shed Talk here today.
Thank you.
But one question that I have for you, do you have any questions for me? Because I've been bombarding you with questions and asking you different stuff. And
Yeah.
do you have any questions?
Well, I am very honored to be here. I have seen your story through social media and your fitness journey. And I'm wondering what kept you committed? What was the one thing that kept you committed and still committed to this day to the fitness journey and the bodybuilding journey?
That's a great question. And when you talked earlier about mindset, when you think about mindset, it becomes integrity. Mm-hmm. If you say it, if you write it down, you have your vision boards and people put it down there. But the biggest thing and the most important thing is one's own integrity in self. If you say it, you become it, and that's who you are. As when the day I said that I was going to go into fitness, I told somebody, and then all of a sudden how I'm going to eat, not drink, do this, because that meant that I was lying. That means I had no integrity. So what did I do? What did I create? I created what we call as the wow effect. And the wow effect is, wow, you did it. Wow. Like, I can't believe you did. And why did you do that? And you throw a why in there. And then, like you said, because I pushed through it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I asked that question about your pushing through, mm-hmm. because everything we do, we have to push through. We have to be better than what we were yesterday, because tomorrow we're going to be greater. Mm-hmm. And that's where I've always looked at it. And it's like, it's a non-negotiable that I have to be better than I was yesterday. Mm-hmm. But yes.
Okay. That's very inspiring.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being on Shed Talk.
Thank you.
Is there one final thing about the book?
About the book, you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, push your way through how to get what you want in life.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now you know. Shed Talk.